Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here with some really cool competitive Pokemon Sun and Moon information. Obviously, if you guys missed the 3 videos that I've already uploaded today, I do encourage you guys to check them out. They would discuss Gengar nerfs, Pelipper buffs, and Gale Wings nerf. So again, I encourage you guys to go check that out. And I'll be covering a lot of competitive stuff on Pokemon Sun and Moon. I won't be spoiling any of the story though, because that's not fair. I feel anyway. But this is a buff to a Pokemon that came around in Generation 1, and that's Dodrio. Dodrio now, big shouts to Kphotix, by the way. I'll link his Twitter down below, as well as Project Pokemon. But Dodrio now has base 110 speed. So from base 100 speed, 328, to Latios' speed, 350. So now Dodrio is able to outspeed Pokemon. Let's just say a few relevant Pokemon that Dodrio outspeeds. It outspeeds Keldeo. Huge one. Huge one. It outspeeds, it no longer speed ties with Pokemon like Mega Gardevoir, like Garchomp is outsped, for example. Regular Landorus, you know, because that thing's probably going to be back in OU. Just Pokemon like that. It outspeeds Pokemon like that. And that's pretty big for Dodrio, being able to threaten most of these with Brave Bird, respectively. However, it doesn't stop there for this mon. In Sun and Moon, this Pokemon now has access to, by level up, Jump Kick, and Swords Dance. Now, level 43, Dodrio does learn Jump Kick. You might be thinking, well, isn't Jump Kick a pretty weak move? No, not in a while. Jump Kick is actually a 100 base power move that Dodrio has access to. That means a Life Orb Jump Kick does 2-hit KO. It does 2-hit KO Heatran. Dodrio already also had access to Knock Off, Brave Bird, and its strongest normal attack, which is usually, you know, Return. I mean, I got double edges there if you want to use that stuff. But Dodrio has pretty solid coverage now with Fighting, Dark, Flying, and I guess Normal if you want to call it that. But it's pretty sick on Dodrio's part because now if you want to replace one of these, let's say Knock Off, for example, with Swords Dance, I think actually you should keep Knock Off and maybe even replace its Flying Stab or Return. I think its Flying Stab might be the one you would actually opt to replace because I think Knock Off still, like, +2 return is doing a lot. But basically, Dodrio now has access to Swords Dance and a few relevant calcs right here. This is +2 Dodrio's return versus physically defensive Rotom. It's doing 87 to 102%, so it is knocking it out 100% with rocks. There is max HP Heatran, which is the most common one. You know, Spadef set anyway. It could be running speed. Jump Kick is easily 2-hit KOing that. Also, without this, Jump Kick plus Knock Off has a chance to knock it out, and with rocks, it 100% knocks it out. So Dodrio having access to Knock Off, one of the best moves in the game. Your opponent losing its item, and now also creating its own way with Swords Dance and Return. And also another, let's say another steel type that I guess it benefits from having Swords Dance is max HP Jirachi, knock off the 61 to 72%. At +2, obviously that is doubled, so it does 121, 4, and 42%. So now Dodrio has this buff that allows it to bypass a lot of mons. Now I do want to say that Dodrio does have access to Baton Pass. However, I don't think that that's gonna be on Dodrio anymore, because when you look through this list right here, I don't see Baton Pass at all, whether it be via egg moves or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure you could transfer Dodrio. I think the way Dodrio got it before was by transferring. I could be mistaken, so I'm not sure if Baton Pass is also a move that I'll be having. I wish it kind of said here, like on PO, how Dodrio got Baton. I'll actually open up PO on the side that way while we're talking about this. But the fact that Dodrio now has access to Swords Dance as well as Jump Kick is really cool. Something they could definitely add to its repertoire that just allows it to bypass steel types. And I do want to know your thoughts on that down below. I'm actually just going to add a Dodrio real quick on PO while we go through this, because I just want to see how Dodrio got that. Just how it got Baton Pass. I'm pretty sure it was like maybe from XD Gala Darkness, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, Baton Pass. Alright, Baton Pass was a third gen special move, so yeah. Not sure if you'll be able to pass that. I do assume, though, that if you bring a Dodrio in, and obviously it was Jolly Nature and had that, it would just change to 110 base speed from 100 base speed. So if it does still have access to Baton Pass via transferring, that's still pretty cool, because it can now become a pretty viable Swords Dance plus Baton Pass user with its tough speed. And let's say the example of Dodrio's in and my opponent has a Mega Venusaur on the field, they're definitely going to switch out, so I can SD and pass the other Pokemon. So it could definitely be a viable Baton Pass user, as well as having massive base 110 attack stat with access to Jump Kick, Swords Dance, Knock Off it already had, but Swords Dance and Jump Kick are obviously new, and this is definitely something that I think makes Dodrio a threat or worth, you know, taking note of. Don't take this thing lightly. But obviously he has pretty poor HP and defensive typing and stats, But still, that speed is definitely something that it has, as well as pretty strong moves. Again, Brave Bird, a knockoff, return, they're all pretty strong. Knockoff, obviously, when you knock off your opponent's attack, 97 base power. So, definitely strong. And I do want to know your thoughts, so feel free to leave those down below. You can subscribe as well for more Pokemon Sun and Moon content that will be coming out. I'll definitely be dropping a Let's Play on the day that thing comes out, as well as moveset videos and all that. But I do want to know your thoughts. Feel free to leave them down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.